Hi, I'm John Spohr, and welcome to Florida Outdoors. Today we have a treat for you. We're bringing you to the second annual Forgotten Coast Black Bear Festival. We're going to be bringing you the sights, the sounds, and a lot of information. And first, I'm going to let you talk to the head bear, Leslie. Leslie, what we got here today?
We got a lot of fun. We got musicians, we got speakers, we got field trips, we got food, and we got me, a bear.
And there you've got it. More fun than you can bear. Let's go see it.
I'm Betsy Knight. I have Big Bend Wildlife Sanctuary over in Calhoun County. And I've been a rehabber for 50 years. And I was a rehabber long before they had rehabbers. When I got into it, they would let us rehab everything but a bear. And they said, but bears can't be rehabbed in Florida because Florida is such a populous state that if you rehab, hand-raise a bear cub, it's going to be imprinted. And I said, not if you do it right. Well, for 20 years, we argued back and forth. And finally, the right person was at the right place at the right time.
My name is Dave Telesco. I'm the Black Bear Management Program Coordinator for Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. We're really excited about the Forgotten Coast Black Bear Festival because what we're hoping to do is educate people about bears and how they can avoid having problems with bears. It's very easy to secure your attractants like garbage, pet food, birdseed, and you'll still have bears, but they won't be a problem.
They came to me with 2 bear cubs in 1985. The sow had been killed in the old Gaskin management area on a bee apiary. She had been poisoned. And the babies had gotten some of the poison, and so they said, I said, no. I said, they won't let us rehab them. And I said, if you'll let me take these cubs and raise them and put them back in the wild, I'll take them. And the whole time my tears were just pouring. And they said, oh, but we can't do that. I said, oh, yes, you can. And the officer that brought them said, well, Betsy, you know we can't, and just please keep them tonight because if you don't keep them and work with them, they're going to die because they've got the poison in them. So I stayed up with them all night, and I said, you be here first thing in the morning. Well, first thing in the morning, I got a call from Gainesville. And this biologist that I'd never heard of said, what makes you think you can rehab a bear and it not be imprinted? And I said, well, number one, you keep it away from people so it doesn't lose its fear of people. Well, you're a people. I said, I know, I'm a bear. And I said, number two, you feed it natural foods. And so they said, well, it's worth a try. So they brought another one. So I had 3 the first year.
I'm Elizabeth Fleming with Defenders of Wildlife, and we're here at the second annual Forgotten Coast Black Bear Festival in Carabel, Florida. This festival is very important to bring awareness to people living here and visiting here about why the Florida black bear is important. Florida black bear is found in Florida, and it's a separate subspecies from the other black bears in the country, and it ranges up into a little bit into Georgia and Alabama also. It's very important to conserve the bear because conserving the bear helps conserve the other species that live in its natural community. It's an umbrella keystone, very wide-ranging species. It requires a lot of habitat, good intact wetlands and forests and different cypress areas. So if we conserve the Florida black bear, we're conserving our water resources for our drinking water, forests, wetlands, and all the natural communities around us.
The two that I have now that you can see here are two babies that were brought to me on February the 3rd. One weighed 2 pounds even. The other one weighed 2.5 pounds. They were 4 weeks old. Their eyes weren't open. Their ears weren't open. And we fixed them in my bathroom. I have one of those big garden tubs, and we put a big table thing across it and put the little crates up there. Well, one crate to start with, and then gave them each a crate. And we've watched these babies grow, as you will see. They were brought to us because there was a wildfire near Lloyd on the Osceola River on a plantation. And Florida Forestry was trying to plow a line around the fire to turn it. And for some reason, the tractor driver stopped his tractor. I think he heard something that he didn't like the sound of on the tractor, and turned the engine off, and when he did, he heard these babies screaming. And he looked in front, and they were like 5 feet in front of the tractor. Had he kept going, he would have run right over them. And the flames were 6 to 7 feet to the side. And when they went back 4 days later, where those babies' den had been was nothing but powdery ash. So they were just meant to get them. And the officer that you saw at first was the one that brought them in. He was an FWC canine officer. And they've been at my house ever since.
Well, what we have here is we have several exhibits about bears, of course. We have an electric fencing exhibit to let people know what actually happens. Electric fencing is a great way. It's almost 100% bear-proof for livestock or anything in a large area like an orchard. We also have an exhibit that tells people what bears normally eat in the wild, and they have over 100 different types of food that bears will eat in the wild. We also have different skulls of bear species. So we have a brown bear skull, a polar bear skull, and a black bear skull. And you can see clearly black bear is the smallest of those. On our other table here, we have retrofit kits, which is if you're wanting to secure your garbage can and you can't get one of these, which is a bear-proof can, you can put bolts on them in Franklin and McCullough County area. But this here, we have a bear-proof can. The bear actually cannot get into this. It's been tested on grizzly bears, and you can get it in Franklin, McCullough County. It's contact Waste Pro, and they'll give that to you. And then we also have some information about how bears act in the wild. And so we have a Bear's Life children's activity where kids can walk through, put a bear vest on, and find out what bears eat in different seasons and where they go to sleep in the wintertime. And they even learn how to cross the road without getting by a car.
They've grown just like leaps and bounds. They're now about 80 pounds. And it won't be long before they'll be returned back to where they came from. And to me, that's the most important part of rehabilitation of an individual animal, is to get it back into the wild. They don't belong in cages. I don't know if you all live here, but this is bear habitat. It's been bear habitat forever and ever. And y'all have moved into their territory. And you don't know how privileged you are to be able to see a wild bear. So many people don't even know bears exist in Florida. Many people say, "You do what?" I said, "Well," but I was the first one, and I, up until this year, I think the only one, to rehab and release in Florida.
My name is Lynn Reynolds, and I'm representing Appalachia Audubon Society this morning. We're here at the Black Bear Festival. We're having a great time battling the wind, and we are particularly happy to focus on the black bears because an exciting species like that helps us get our message out. If we're protecting the habitat for the bears, we know we're also saving habitat for loads of other wonderful species. So we've found, talking to folks this morning, that everyone is interested in hearing about the black bears. We know we need to educate folks about human encounters with black bears and the importance of making sure that there is room enough for all of us together. And we love speaking with the folks this morning. We're getting lots of exciting activities going for kids, showing them what they can do to help the black bears. We have some mazes that show the dangers that bears have to go through to encounter and get to a safe place. Lots of those dangers are human caused, and we want to make sure that folks are educated about that.
Bears are a wild animal, just like any other wild animal. They could be unpredictable. We have never had a predatory attack by a bear on a person, but we have had people who have been scratched and bitten in defensive situations where either a person got between a mother and cub or the bear felt threatened. So if the question is a bear dangerous, I think the answer is any wild animal is dangerous. A bear is much larger than a lot of the common animals, and so we really need to be careful and keep them away from our homes. And the best way to do that is to make sure they don't have any food, no garbage, no pet food, no bird seed close to home.
There's some studies underway now looking at building a very large road network through the Panhandle, other areas in North Florida where it's been relatively pristine. Roads really do cause huge impact to natural systems. They fragment habitat for wide-ranging species such as Florida black bear, Florida panther. There are some very direct impacts to species that we see immediately in terms of roadkill. They get run over roads. You see raptors, birds of prey, turtles, snakes, bobcats, deer, all kinds of species are affected by roads. And they actually disrupt the flow, natural flow of water. They act as a dam. They often help exotic species spread into our natural system. So there are some real major impacts of even the best plan of roads. But there are ways to mitigate some of the effects, such as the wildlife crossings for bears and other animals to cross under the road, and they install fences to help funnel the species towards those. But there really is no way to build a road through a natural system without it having major impacts.
We hope we can keep a green corridor from the bottom of the state all the way over to the Panhandle area, so bears and other large carnivores can move back and forth, or large animals. The bear is an umbrella species, and by protecting enough land for the Florida black bear, you are protecting many ecosystems. And the water is clean. The air is clean. It's clean for us. We have enough development in this state. And if they do more, it needs to be confined to the area that's already developed and not spread out into the areas where we do have open space. Or else we're going to lose a lot of species of animals here in Florida.